Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Tinubu to governors, be ready, let's fix economy together. Ipman cautions against hike in petrol price. Ambode reunites with Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, and Fashola. NBF awaits family's burial plan for 1987 Olympian boxer Okoro Dudu. Deluge of visitors forced Buhari to leave Daura, says aide. Really? Eid ground clash. Adeleke's account illogicals. Bloomberg greets Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest. 11 die as truck rams into bus on Benin-Lagos Road.
Yeah.
Okay, which story?
The human interest story. So
right.
11 persons have been confirmed dead. 8 others injured in an accident at the Benin-Lagos Expressway. According to the story, they said an articulated truck and a fully loaded passenger bus were involved in the crash near Ovia River. The witnesses said that the truck rammed into the 18-seater bus, which slowed down to navigate a failed portion of the road. And they said it brushed the car before running into the interstate bus and killed 11 passengers on the go. And others who survived were rushed to the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Ogbowo. Their corpses were deposited in the same hospital. So it's been confirmed, the accident has been confirmed. They said that most of the passengers on the bus were going to the southeast after attending a church program in Lagos when they had that accident, and a lot of them died. So it's just a very sad story. The Edo State Commander Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, Paul Ukwe, also confirmed the accident yesterday, saying that they had to, rush most of them to the UBTH by their ambulances.
Okay, so yesterday, the president was hosted by the governor of Lagos State to a dinner. And the high point of that dinner was the presence of the former governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode. He was there reuniting with his predecessors and his leaders. The picture obviously broke the internet. Everybody was talking about Ambode was there. He was reunited with his leader. And after the 2014 primaries, if you remember what happened, there was like a fallout between all the leaders. But it was good to see Ambode in the mix of everybody. If you recall also, all of them, that's Fashola, Sanwo-Olu, and Ambode, all served under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was governor of Lagos State. Yeah. I think Fashola was chief of staff, and then Sanwo-Olu was special advisor, and Ambode was the accountant general during that period. So they all served under him at the time, and they were all part of his tutelage, and it was good to see all 4 of them together.
Okay,
They said 4 generations.
You know, legacy.
Lagos likes to do shakara too much.
No,
you have to give.
When you lead others, we follow. It's good. Teach us good example.
But it was a good picture. It was a good picture.
So let me give you another good story. So the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has regained his position as Africa's richest man. Last time they said he was not the richest man. I don't know how it affected me, but it affected me emotionally. Anyways, the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, theirs is a daily ranking. So at the end of every business day, they rank you. And it measures personal wealth based on changes in markets and economy. And each net worth figure is updated every business day after the close of trading in New York. So today we have, he is the richest man in Africa. Of course, they list all other billionaires on the list in the world, in America and everywhere. But
back to his
we are now first position.
Okay. So the follow-up, so you guys had 2 good stories, and it seemed like I'm taking us back to drama from Eid. Not sad, but drama. So they said the Eid ground clash, that the account being rendered by Adeleke's team, that's the governor of Osun State's team, is illogical. The senator and governor disagree on what happened. And one of the things the senator was saying that if you feel like there were thugs there, how come you did not arrest the thugs? How, if you said there were 3 buses of hoodlums, you stormed out of the venue and you didn't deal with it, and there's no crisis that happened, nobody has been arrested till now. They said he mentioned that the security of the state lies within the responsibility of the governor. So for him, he said the statement by Olawale Rasheed is an indictment to the governor himself. Maybe they don't understand the full implication of being in office. There's still a lot of political back and forth between both of them, because a lot of name calling. We hosted them on the show yesterday, and we're still having to deal with this issue today. And I'm appealing to the 2 political leaders and their teams that the people of Osun will really appreciate if they work together as much as possible. Personal opinion.
All right, the Punch, Service Chiefs Seniors. Military orders generals to retire, gives Monday deadline. Abdulrazak lists socioeconomic benefits as Ilorin Doba holds. Lagos court acquits woman charged with assault on policeman. Naira devaluation will increase raw materials import, says MEN. Subsidy removal, FG saves 400 billion naira in 4 weeks. CBN injected $18 billion into forex market in 2022, says report. Naira redesign couldn't stop my victory, says Tinubu. And external reserves fall by $3 billion in 6 months. All right, which stories are we taking?
So our president on Thursday went to Ijebu-Ode, and he went to visit, he went to the palace of the paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru Aditana. I hope I got that pronunciation right, in Ijebu-Ode. And it was a thank you visit. He said it was to redeem a pledge he had made that he will be back with victory and the crown. He also made reference to, you know, the pre-election period. He said that we delivered despite the hardship of no money, no fuel. I credit you, thank you, and I don't know what it. I don't know that it will be like this. Okay, so he was also saying that he wanted to just sneak in and sneak out, but now he realizes that being a president, that is impossible, you know, and that he said having achieved the PowerPoint of Emilio Khan, and then being here, have redeemed the pledge. So he made reference to the Emilio Khan that he used. He says it's like he called. He said he invoked the spirit of Emilio Khan. Okay, yeah, the freedom, and that's being blunt and decisive. There's a spirit of Baba Emilio Khan. That's Baba Awujale.
Oh,
So the spirit of being blunt, decisive, and spirit of, and so he embraced that, and here he is today. He has become the president.
Everything is,
and he's asking us that we should please bear with him these initial pains that we'll go through for now, but he will do his best for us.
Okay.
All right, major headline. The Defense Headquarters have given top officers who are senior to the newly appointed service chiefs till Monday to voluntarily retire from service. The order was contained in a memo dated June 26 and signed by Major General Yahaya on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff. And it was also directed to generals, Brigadier General, Air Vice Marshal, Rear Admirals in the Nigerian Army, Air Force, Nigerian Navy, who are senior to the new service chiefs. So they said that this is in line with what has been happening because of the way the military is structured. So according to the Punch, he said they would be retired following the appointment of the new service chiefs, as the president had announced June 19. And the retirement of the senior officers across the 3 services was in line with the long-standing military tradition that officers who were senior to the service chiefs must go, because they understand that they may not be able to, you know, take directives from younger officers, and so they let them go. However, and they are giving them till July 3rd to do that. But retired officers corps are saying that they are aware that this is in line with standing tradition, but they would have used the senior officials who they are asking to resign now to better use. They would have kept them somewhere. They may still need their advice in fighting insecurity in the country, that will come in handy instead of just, you know, dismissing them and asking them to go. That if they were replacing them with technologically energetic young people, they will understand that it's not just about being service chiefs. We need more in fighting insecurity in the country, that it would have been better that they kept them to still use them somewhat, not just dismiss.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. So the president of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, Francis Meshioye, was speaking, saying that the federal government's, the fact that the federal government had stopped the, at floating the Nigerian naira, the currency, is going to actually help importation, reduce the cost of importation eventually. According to them, they said that it's going to stop the exchange rate from going haywire like it did some months ago. They're also saying that because the president had also assented to the electricity regulatory bill, they're hoping that when they do that, when each state is therefore empowered, finally empowered to generate electricity themselves, that should also encourage manufacturers across the country. They celebrated, they said that once the states generate their own electricity, it will be beneficial and to all manufacturers. It will break the monopoly currently we have in the electricity. And they're saying that once we have these, once the economy adjusts to the floating of the naira, and then the exchange rate might end up between 500 naira to 600 naira to the dollar, that would then be helpful to be able to predict the markets going forward. So they're just really encouraging and also adding their own voice to the floating of the naira and the electricity bill that was signed by our president recently.
So a 33-year-old woman, her name is Olufunmi Layo Erioluwa. She's been remanded in prison, Kirikiri Correctional Facility, for allegedly assaulting a police officer, Olufowobi Nureni. She was held in the Kirikiri Correctional Center for 41 days, and she had pled not guilty to the charges. She was brought in court for arraignment on the 6th of June, and there was a civil rights activist, Inebe Efiong, that was representing her, said that they were able to defend the case and got her bail of 100,000 naira, but because they couldn't perfect the bail, which means they couldn't raise 100,000 naira to release her, she was kept there for 41 days. She was brought to court 3 times, and each of the time, the person accusing her did not show up. There were no witnesses, no evidence, and yet this young lady had to spend 41 days until the magistrate struck out the case that this wasn't what. And there are many people like that they are probably still awaiting trial or waiting for bail perfection, who are probably innocent in prison. We really need help for people to create more funds for activists to be able to defend people who have no lawyers to support their cases, and we can barely decongest the prison of these awaiting trials. And
so these were a group of activists that actually helped her.
If not, she probably will still be there for the next foreseeable.
Okay, Daily Sun. Nothing would have stopped my victory, says Tinubu. No business partnership with Britain until Kano is freed, says IPOB. Sacrifices for better Nigeria must start with leaders, says Peter Obi. NAFDAC warns about contaminated soft drink. 12 pastors, driver baby killed in Edo road crash. Oh, my Lord. Catholic bishops reject proposed bill on Christian Education Council. Senate Minority Leader, opposition against Tambuwa's bid grows. And Gubo polls, PDP confident of winning Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa. Okay, which story are you taking, Sales?
NAFDAC has raised an alarm over and has alerted the public of a batch of unwholesome Sprite, 50 cl drink that's circulating in Nigeria.
Sure, imported.
So the batch number is AZ622:32. Manufacturing date is April 18, 2023, and the expiry date is April 4, 2024. So they're calling, if you're a retailer, a consumer, be careful of this batch of Sprite 50 cl bottles that are out there. The agency has also asked the Nigerian Bottling Company, has directed them to recall the implicated batch of the unwholesome product. So NAFDAC did a test of, they first got a consumer complaint, and then they got some of the products. They did a test of it, and they found some particles. They don't tell us what particles they are. There's going to be further information, but it has adverse effects on people who have consumed it. So they say if you have those batch bottles, send it to their agency, and then if you have taken that as well, you need to let them know and let's know the effects on you. Yes.
I can smell class action abroad. Serious class action. You're going to make a lot of money.
So the indigenous people of Biafra are rejecting a business partnership proposal by Britain with the Southeast, insisting on the unconditional release of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, as the only condition to discuss any trade terms. So spokesperson of IPOB, Ima Powerful, was reacting to the visit of the British High Commissioner, Dr. Richard Montgomery, to Ohanaeze Ndigbo recently, to partner in business with them, business development with them. And he says that is not the conversation he expected them to have. That, according to him, say, when has the Nigerian government, who is a baby of Britain, become powerful as to override the influence of Britain in the case of a British citizen, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? And he asked, does the British think that the Ndigbo people are stupid, that they are not going to have any partnership with them till they can, you know, work on the release of their leader, and any organization, any Igbo organization that goes ahead to have any business partnership with them they will not find it funny. This is more like trying to pacify them with a gift that they're not willing to have. They should do the proper thing, and then they can go ahead and have
Sounds like a threat.
Business conversations with them.
All right, so the presidential candidate for Labour Party, Peter Obi, has condemned the 124-vehicle convoy of the president recently. He had described it as outrageous and reckless. According to him, Peter Obi said that he was yet to see the video footage of the Tinubu 124 vehicle, but He must reiterate that leaders must lead Nigeria by example. The present Nigeria requires all who serve to lead by example. And this is going by on the backdrop of when our president said that we must make sacrifices. So he was saying that leaders must sacrifice at this time for to achieve democracy that we desire.
I want to continue. I know that we'll listen and take Peter Obi's word like it is a word from the throne of grace, and it would be I'll be grateful if he, understanding the situation, would have gotten all the full information before tweeting, because now he's tweeting something and he's making the front lines, and yet he's saying he did not see the video. He did not do investigations to confirm whether the video is actually for the president alone, because there are also information that the president that 124 convoy wasn't the president alone. It was that all the people that went to meet him followed him. So that's just a little bit so that you are diffusing the detention in the country at the moment. I want to take a very important
He's also
story.
opposition, so we should...
Yes,
He's opposition. So, he should make... I would love to listen to him make...
So I hear
contributions that, like, when you hear him, even the president that is an opposition will listen to him and want to take.
So it's also a reminder to the ruling party
to be careful,
to be very careful that somebody is watching. So even though everybody went to go and visit you in the airport,
all of
know that we are watching that. We are counting how much fuel they paid, they bought to go and receive. So is that opposition? Because ABC did the same thing when PDP was in power. Every small thing was
accounted.
No, I just wanted the facts out.
You're right.
The presidential convoy alone.
So I let them. We need them to keep talking. Let people know that. Yeah, go ahead.
The Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria have rejected the bill from the National Assembly. So the National Assembly is planning a bill. It was sponsored by Rimad Shuan Kwenum, and I'm sure I bastardized that name.
Killed the name.
I'm sorry.
I have to pitch you.
Is that Nigerian?
Yeah, I'm sure it's from Middle Belt. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. It doesn't.
Okay,
I
so
can't recognize
Rimamde Shua.
Don't move on.
Okay, so a few people have presented a bill, and the purpose of the bill is to develop a curriculum regulating and approving syllabus/contents on all level of Christian education, and from basic, secondary, even to theological institutions. And the Catholic Association have said that they cannot support this in any way, that this was brought up in 2019 by Association of Christian Schools, who are largely Protestants, who are largely Protestants and private Pentecostal-owned school. According to them, the bill originally is intended to regulate theology concerns and should not have anything to do with all theological institutions. Right. They've discussed the idea with CAN. They decided to pursue it in making the lawmakers not, that they disagree with it. They said the motivation was that the Muslim had an education board being funded by the federal government, so and they feel the Christians too should have an education board being funded by the federal government. But the CNBC president said in a statement that, at least for the Catholic bishops, they strongly expressed absolute rejection and objection to that bill.
Because the doctrines are different. That's the only reason I see. If it was one doctrine, we can still have that.
Maybe they don't want federal government influence as well.
Vanguard, why I invoked spirit of freedom in Ogun, says Tinubu. National Assembly principal officers, tension as competing camps await Tinubu and APC's nod. NAFDAC warns Nigerians against contaminated Sprite in circulation. Why, how we killed Naval Officer. Suspects confess. Bloomberg rates Dangote richest man in Africa. $15.6 billion for the 12th time. UI Unilag Covenant ranked amongst 1,000 best universities in the world. Buhari never told Tinubu not to probe former government officials. Navy redeploys 57 senior officers in major shakeup. And uncertainty trails completion date of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. There not be confusion, no?
Uncertainty.
How can there be uncertainty? Please,
further notice.
So the story of the naval officer that was killed, I took it 2 days ago. While, according to this first story that I took, they said he was, driving along the road and there was more of water. So he mistakenly splashed water on the passerby, came down to apologize, and then they held him and killed him. But the 3 suspects have been arrested, the boys involved in that, and they started narrating, according to their story, what happened. They said, so 3 of them are Ayomide Sambo, Johnson Adeleke, and Shagari Francis, 17 years of age, who just finished secondary school.
Oh my God.
Said that they were coming back, they wanted to go get their power bank for their phone, and they saw this naval officer who I think one of their shoulder hit him. And so he came down, he slapped them in anger and used his head to, they call it head boots, one of them. So he left. They were upset. But then somebody told them that he's not even a real officer. So they traced him, chased him down, got him, and used iron rod to hit him, and that was what killed him. So between three of them, they are all denying, I did not hit, it was not me, I came and saw, I did not join you people, you know, it's been back and forth, but they are going to be arraigned in court. Prosecution is going to happen very soon. They are just so young, very young. Even if the officer slapped you, they are young.
Okay, Malam, okay, go ahead.
3 Nigerian universities, University of Ibadan, UNILAG, and Covenant University have been ranked among the top 1,000 universities in the world. So this is the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2023. So they look at 1,799 universities across 104 countries. And in that ranking, we have UNILAG 1, UI first, and then UNILAG and Covenant. And then in Africa, University of Ibadan is also the 3rd best in Africa after the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa, and then we have Aswan University in Egypt. So among the 1,000, those are the Nigerian universities that you'll find there. But we have the 4th and 5th best ranked Nigerian universities. We have the Bayero University, BUK, and then Federal University of Agriculture, FUTA. They are ranked 1,001 and 1,200 respectively. There are many others. In other countries like Egypt, they have 14 of their universities on that list. South Africa has 5.
Before, we only had Covenant for a while. I used to monitor that list for me. Well, it's only Covenant University, but now I'm happy that more of our universities are in that list. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.